Thank you for purchasing one of our consumer duty templates, whether that's the product approval process, or the product review, value assessment, board report, or the gap analysis document as well. I just thought I'd give you a quick video to talk you through generally how to complete those assessments and let you know that we're here should you require any support in doing so. Or if you wanted to, we are quite happy to check the quality and final version of your assessment and provide feedback for that. We just charge £100 for that service. So if you're interested, just let us know via email. But yes, all of our assessments essentially follow the same pattern. So you begin by by recording what the product is and the reason for the assessment. For example, value assessments will sometimes be triggered because it's part of a new product or service that you're creating, or could be triggered by annual or biannual assessment, for example. Or importantly, it could be because market factors have changed. Therefore, a key risk indicator has been identified, and therefore your assessment has been triggered. So setting out that at the very start gives vital context for the rest of the assessment. But then we focus on who your target market is. The previous email that you received in this email series highlighted exactly what to look for there. So do refer to that. But yeah, identifying your target market, their characteristics, absolutely key to the start of any of these assessments. Why? Because everything flows on from that in the consumer duty. If you recognize that you've got, say, two or three different groups of customers and they all have distinct set of characteristics which could then impact the harm or the if you like the outcome for that customer in terms of their financial objectives, then that will frame the rest of your assessment, because then you're spending time identifying what you can do to mitigate the risk of that harm crystallizing and what you can do to support their financial objectives. And all of that should be wrapped around by good faith. So you're identifying where there might be inappropriate friction built into the customer journey that could then contribute to the harms that you've identified, or where perhaps your financial promotions aren't balanced or your communication isn't balanced. You're trying to push the customer down a certain direction because it's more cost effective for your firm. That again may not support the outcomes that customers are receiving, may cause them harm, which again is a key part of these assessments. So we identify the characteristics of customers in your target market at the start of the assessments, and then we do exactly what I've just said. We then apply essentially the cross-cutting rules to that, and that's the next stages of whether it's your value assessment, your product approval, product reviews, and then at the end we're looking at, okay, what is it? What are the outputs? What do we need to do to mitigate those harms or mitigate the risk of those harms occurring? That's very much those assessments that I've just mentioned. We've also got templates around, for example, your board report to focus very much on, okay, are we compliant with the areas of the duty, but what's the outcomes for customers? And that should be the main focus areas. So what does good look like? You work through a process, so you identify, okay, for your average customer, what does good look like for somebody purchasing your product or service? What data tells you whether that's actually been the case? So that might be some business persistence data, it might be complaints, it might be customer feedback queries. Does that tell you whether the customer has got their outcome that they were looking for when they started to use your product? And that's the basis of your outcomes monitoring and therefore your board report. Now, you would look at that through the lens of your average customer, as mentioned, but you'd also look at that through your lens of different groups of customers, as well as different points in the customer journey. So at sign up, onboarding, what does good look like from a customer point of view? When they make a payment or have any interaction with you, what does good look like? Are you meeting those outcomes? All of that needs to be pooled into your board report. Now, the important thing there is not to just give them reams of stats and MI, but to actually analyze that information. And that's something we've had a lot, or a point that the FCA has made in their feedback in several of their multi-firm reviews. So making sure that you are actually analyzing that data and presenting it in a way to the board that enables them to then discuss, challenge that data and use it to push objectives going forward to improve the product or service. So the core of your board report should be based around what are the outcomes, examples, it can be dashboard data, it can be trend analysis, but definitely including some case studies in there that, like I say, provoke that discussion. Just a quick video to highlight those key areas within your assessment and to make sure you're aligned with our thought process as we created those templates. And it starts with the target market and then flows down through the cross-cutting rules and then communication and those outputs. If you do have any queries, happy to answer any queries. So just drop me an email. But if you do want a formal assessment of any of your assessments, just to check you're on the right lines, then do let me know and we can provide that service for you. Thanks for listening.